issued by the local parishes in Louisiana. Unfortunately, some of the evacuation participation rates may be low, and it's time to batten down the hatches as Harvey comes ashore as a major hurricane.
Brock, there's a debate for another day about whether it's better to issue a voluntary or a mandatory evacuation order. But you said that you've heard that they're low, but is that in the immediate path of this hurricane, or are you talking about as a general statement about all the way along Texas and Louisiana's coastline? I mean, obviously we're most concerned about that area around Corpus Christi to the north up toward Port Lavaca, Port O'Connor, in that area there.
This was an incredibly tough storm to forecast for meteorologists. And part of the problem with a rapidly intensifying storm is getting people motivated to move. And so we've had a very small window of getting people to understand that this has the potential and it has now become a major hurricane. One of the problems I have with the terminology nationwide is I think we have, as a nation, a lot of work to do. We need to simplify the terminology. It can be confusing to the public. Personally, I believe that citizens should be warned to either be under an evacuation or ordered to shelter in place. And so sometimes when we issue, some communities use voluntary, some communities use mandatory or partial or full or recommended. We got a lot of work to do, in my opinion, to clean up the terminology and become consistent nationwide.
I agree with you 100% there. So do you have any sense in terms of where the core of this hurricane is going to come ashore? And it's going to come ashore, not very far from where Celia came ashore in 1970, not to mention the great hurricanes of the 19th century that just wiped out whole towns here in that area around Port Aransas and up toward Port Lavaca. There was a town there called Indianola that's gone today because of hurricanes. Any sense of the level of evacuation at those most vulnerable areas there?
So obviously a multitude of counties along the Texas and Louisiana coast have issued mandatory evacuations. I do not have a sense regarding participation rates, right now. Regarding where it's going to come ashore, Brian, you guys are the experts here, but looking at this forecast, I realize there is a ton of uncertainty. What's certain about it is that it's a major hurricane. It'll be the first one to make landfall since 2005, which concerns me greatly because the experience with a major hurricane is very low right now in this nation, and very few people have actually experienced storm surge associated with rainfall, or associated with a major landfalling hurricane. And the other aspect of this is because the storm has no forward speed and a lack of steering currents, rainfall is going to be an issue for the next 5 days. Now, with that too, one of the concerns I have with a lack of understanding in track forecasting right now, or the uncertainty in the track forecasting, is any shift to the north and east, as you know, is going to change those rainfall forecasts dramatically. And I want to make sure that while the focus right now is on Texas, I also want the citizens in the coast of Louisiana to make sure that they stay tuned to their local officials and heed all the warnings that go forward from there.
Yeah, I was just talking to the folks at the Times-Picayune in New Orleans a few minutes ago, talking about the fringe effects and how they were getting very heavy rain just to the southwest of the city of New Orleans. So there's certainly a big footprint here for this storm. And also tornadoes already reported in the Houston area. So it's not obviously just where the core comes ashore, just to emphasize what you said there, Brock. All right, Brock Long with FEMA, the new FEMA administrator in Washington. Thanks very much, Brock. And of course, we'll be back in touch with you throughout this event, which is going to go on here 4 days. Back to Paul, who is in Corpus Christi. Paul.
All right, thanks. It's our senior hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, there back in the studio. As the winds are still whipping us here in Corpus Christi, we've kind of taken shelter for a brief time. We're going to actually head back and give you a better shot of the bay coming up in about 10 minutes or so. But we're still watching and waiting the approach of Hurricane Harvey. Again, this is a major hurricane, a Category 3 hurricane, 120 mile-per-hour winds here. And this will be the first major hurricane to hit this Corpus area in 47 years. So people are definitely, a lot of people are taking this serious. Some are not, perhaps not as serious as they should. So we're definitely going to be concerned about the weather going downhill through the rest of the day. We always have a concern, though, with landfalling hurricanes of severe weather, especially tornadoes. Let's go back to the studio and talk more about that with Dr. Erica Navarro.
Thank you so much, Paul. We still have active tornado warnings here along the Texas coast. We're seeing that increase in wind speed as that storm makes its approach to the coast. And with that and those outer rain bands coming on shore, we are seeing those brief spin-ups being indicated by the radar imagery. Taking a look at the new information that's coming in, this is in the Freeport area. This is Brazoria County, a tornado warning here until 3:45 p.m. Central Time. This includes the cities of Freeport and Lake Jackson. So if you are in this region, you want to take shelter immediately because these are very strong storms that are coming on shore right now. We also have a tornado warning just to the south and west of that. This is Matagorda County and includes the city of Bay City until 4 p.m. Central Time. So just in the next 25 to 30 minutes or so, these storms are moving steadily off to the northwest, so we can anticipate them to be moving freely in these areas. Taking a look at the storm relative velocity, you can see here there's a bit of a couplet being indicated by the radar, where you see these darker colors and lighter colors close together. That is rotation being indicated by the radar. So these are brief spin-ups potentially of tornadoes in this region as those bands come on shore because we have that increased vertical wind shear. I'm just going to move this ahead a little bit to give you a better idea of what we are expecting and timing you out as that storms continue to move off to the northwest. So this is in the Brazoria area, and it will be into the West Brazos Junior High School area by about 3:36, into Wild Peach by just before 3:40, and then into West Columbia shortly after that. So please, again, take all of these warnings very seriously today and take shelter if you're in these regions. We're talking multiple threats with this storm to come, and the eye wall is still offshore, about 65, potentially even closer than that now, 65 miles offshore. Taking a look at the visible satellite here, there's that storm. You can see a very well-defined eye wall. You can see all the way down to the ocean. That is an indication of a well-structured and very strong storm. We're seeing gusts here in Port Lavaca into the 43-mile-per-hour range, into the Corpus Christi area of 49 miles per hour. And we did register a 52-mile-per-hour wind gust in the city of Corpus Christi earlier today. So we are seeing that increase of wind speeds as the system moves onshore. Let's give you an idea of what to expect moving forward in time. Here's today, and that storm sitting just to the south of Corpus Christi. It will make landfall this evening, sometime tonight in between early tomorrow morning. But after it makes landfall, this storm will continue to remain in the same areas and potentially meander around the southeast Texas coast. Where it goes exactly after that still will remain to be seen because it's under a level of very weak steering winds. There's nothing really pushing or pulling on it in any direction. So it will be remaining in this area, potentially in the Houston area through next Wednesday. And we'll have much more in the updated information coming up.
When you have something you love, you want to protect it. At LegalZoom, our network of attorneys can help you every step of the way with an estate plan including wills or a living trust that grows along with you and your family. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of change.
We built careers, bought houses,
made a million tough decisions.
Of course, we can embrace new technology.
Remember when we used to have to go to the library to look things up? Good job.
Our generation really has gotten used to a whole new world.
It's been hard sometimes, but switching to consumer cellular, easy.
Yeah. Now our cell phone bill is a fraction of what it used to be.
Our average customers get everything they need for about $25 a month. Many pay much less, as plans start at only $10 a month with no contracts.
We don't need an expensive unlimited plan, but we do love having our cell phone.
Like for navigation.
And with Consumer Cellular, it's easy to call and text.
Or use the web, everywhere we go.
Consumer Cellular's reliable coverage reaches 99% of the U.S. population.
Consumer Cellular has a great choice of phones.
well, sure do.
Check out my new one.
I picked this simple phone.
I used my son's old smartphone. Kept my number, too.
It's a good thing Consumer Cellular is always there, because sometimes I need a little help.
Sometimes.
We're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service among non-contract wireless providers.
We like trying new things, especially when there's no risk. Like switching to Consumer Cellular. If you don't love it, just cancel, and you won't pay a penny. But really, what's not to love?
Consumer Cellular has been an approved AARP provider since 2008, offering superior customer support and outstanding value to AARP members, including exclusive discounts.
We've watched our kids grow up and leave home. That was hard.
But with Consumer Cellular, it's easy to stay in touch with family and stay within our budget.
Stop paying too much for wireless service. Switch to Consumer Cellular. And with our 30-day, 100% risk-free guarantee, it couldn't be easier. You can even keep your phone and number. Call 1-800-789-5039. Go to consumercellular.com or visit a Target store today.
Come on, Josh.
When someone truly believes in you, you can achieve great things, like hitting the game-winning home run. At Loan Depot, we believe in helping you achieve the American dream of owning a home. Loan Depot is the only lender that provides critical illness coverage which you can use to pay your mortgage payments, up to $30,000 in case you're unable to work.
That's impressive.
And if interest rates ever drop, you can refinance without any lender closing costs. Loan Depot, we believe in you.
Introducing Cologuard.
I'm here for an important reason. Colon cancer screening. If you're age 50 or older and at average risk, Cologuard finds cancer and precancer. And it's a non-invasive test you can use at home. In fact, I'm as easy as get, go, gone. How do you get me? Your doctor orders me, and I'm delivered directly to your doorstep. There's no need for time off or special prep because I use the DNA in your stool to find colon cancer. Then you just go. I mean, collect your sample. Then I'm gone. Just ship me to the lab. Gotta go.
Cologuard is intended for individuals at average risk for colon cancer. Cologuard is not for high-risk individuals, including those with a history of colon cancer or polyps, IBD, certain hereditary cancer syndromes, or a family history of colon cancer. Cologuard, colon cancer screening that's as easy as get, go, gone. Ask your doctor if Cologuard is right for you.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're here to help. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
The Lab is brought to you by State Farm. There for when things go wrong, but also here to help life go right.
Now's not the time to lose faith in your government institutions.
I'm concerned that people that have never flooded before are at risk of flooding.
If you live in a region in which an evacuation has been ordered, you need to heed that advice and get out of harm's way while you still can.
Our highest priority at this point is the safety of the public, and by that we mean everyone in the path of the storm, but also the safety of the responders. So life safety here is our priority. I want to walk through a few things that we've done. State and local officials have the lead for this, as always. We encourage individual responsibility and planning, as always, and I would stress that this is a serious storm. As you've seen from the reporting, we've had significant rainfall projected. Storm surge in Texas and Louisiana over the weekend and into the next week are forecast to be serious. This could remain a dangerous storm for several days, and certainly we don't want to lose any life. Flooding, flash flooding, and other high wind damages, although we expect this to be a rain event more so than a wind event, neither of those things can be counted upon. So taking this seriously and preparing is very important.
There's a lot of things to be prepared for with this system, and we are still talking about tropical tornadoes here being a threat along the southeastern coast of Texas. We still have a tornado warning here for Brazoria County. If we look down at the radar, we can see that things are still lighting up. We want to bring it over to Jay Gray in NBC. He's live in Victoria tonight. And Jay, things are really starting to pick up. How's the winds and the rain where you are standing?
Hey, Dr. Navarro. Yeah, we're getting gusts of winds at times, the trees behind me dancing. The rain's been steady. It's going to intensify, as we've been talking about. Take a look up at the clouds, and you can see the clouds are moving at a decent pace here at this time. They seem to be picking up. Again, this rain is going to get much more severe. The wind is going to get much more intense. We're just a little inland here, but the National Weather Service already forecasting 32 inches of rain here over the next several days. There's no way to prepare for something like that, Dr. Navarro.
Yeah, it's really amazing the impacts that we're seeing with this system, and we're talking the potential for some incredible rainfall rates, Jay. Be safe out there, please, and take shelter when necessary, and hopefully all the people where you are doing the same.
Yep.
So yes, we want to bring you the latest information on those tornado warnings that we have here in the southeastern Texas coast here. We're looks like the National Weather Service here just dropped the one in the Freeport area. Still some strong bands of storms moving through, but we have another tornado warning here for Matagorda County until 4:00 p.m. Central Time. So again, this includes the city of Bay City, and we have a new tornado warning here being issued again in Galveston County. So this includes Lamarck and Texas City, and we've already seen multiple tornado warnings here in this region. So these are strong storms that are coming on shore. We're still seeing some indications of rotation on the radar. This is just to the south of Bay City here. You can still see some indication of rotation from that previously warned system here. So they may reissue that warning imminently. So again, if you're in these areas, please take shelter. Please take these warnings very seriously. Wait for them to pass, and by all means, don't go outside because you may not be able to see them shielded by the rain. Timing this out for you, this will be into Blessing by just about 3:52, into Louise by 4:15 p.m. Again, this is Central Time, and then into Edna by about 4:30. I'm going to move past this here. Again, that system's moving off to the northwest, so watch, be on the alert for these tornado warnings because they may be continually issued throughout the afternoon and evening tonight. We've got tornado watches up until 2 a.m. Saturday morning, so this goes into tomorrow morning. And to give you some context, this is the first time we've had an August tornado watch here issued for the Houston area in about 12 years. So again, this is a historic storm really that's coming on shore. We have not seen a storm of this magnitude in a very long time. Taking a look at the gust, the winds that are coming in, we've got wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour in Port Lavaca. We're seeing gusts now into Corpus Christi by about 48 miles per hour. Port Isabel, winds are sustained around 20 miles per hour, and we're seeing gusts up into the 30 range. And so now, regardless of where the center of this storm goes, the impacts here will be far-reaching and lasting for multiple days. So even if you're not in the path of the center, I want you to be prepared and be alert because there will be devastating and life-threatening impacts from flooding as well as storm surge along the coast. And that flooding is not just coastal, it's going to be inland as well. Take a look at the track of this system moving forward on Sunday. It remains in the Corpus Christi area, and then it meanders along the Texas coast into Houston through Wednesday. So we're talking about multiple days of impacts and heavy rainfall. We'll have much more on Hurricane Harvey after the break.
The average family's hectic home. It's raised one daredevil, 2 dynamic DIY duos, and an entrepreneur named Sharon. It's witnessed 31 crashes, 4 food fights, and the flood of '09. It's your paradise perfected with Behr Premium Plus low odor paint. The best you can buy starting under $25. Unbelievable quality, unbeatable prices. Only at the Home Depot.
For a limited time, you can get this fresh, juicy Boston Market rotisserie chicken for $1.99 when you buy any family meal. Now, your next few dinners are taken care of. Boston Market.
As Harvey's path continues, there is one place to turn to and to trust. Taking you to the front lines, keeping you ahead of the storm. Experts breaking down the science behind the system.
It is a life-threatening situation.
Tracking every possible path.
The impacts here are going to be catastrophic.
Whether we're getting you through it or taking you to it, trust in the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 71 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 52. Winds north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, a mainly sunny sky, high 75. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, a mostly clear sky, low 53. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
This Labor Day at Enterprise Car Sales. Experience great customer service and get more for your trade August 25th through September 5th. And let Enterprise Car Sales flip your thinking about buying your next vehicle.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
People would stare. Psoriasis does that.
It was tough getting out there on stage.
I wanted to be clear. I wanted it to last.
So I kept on fighting.
I found something that worked and keeps on working.
Now, they see me.
See me.
See if Cosentyx could make a difference for you. Cosentyx is proven to help people with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis find clear skin that can last. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting Cosentyx, you should be checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you've received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Never give up.
See me.
See me.
Clear skin can last.
Don't hold back. Ask your dermatologist if Cosentyx can help you find clear skin that lasts.
Now at the Honda Summerbration sales event, you can get a great deal on a Honda Fit and kick summer up to a whole new level. Make it a summer to remember at the Honda Summerbration sales event today. Hurry in and get a great deal on a Honda Fit from KBB.com's best value brand at your local Honda dealer.
Your paycheck. Your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. And chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day.
SelectQuote found Alec, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote found Kenesha, 37, a $750,000 policy for $19 a month.
SelectQuote's secret? They impartially shop a select group of highly rated companies like these for your best rates. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford.
Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance. Call now, 800-311-6499, or go to SelectQuote.com. Discover what over 1 million families already know. We shop, you save.
When the weather turns serious, the first thing I'm thinking is, how do I communicate the message very clearly to people so they understand what the risk is and how to get through this?
But of course, that search and rescue process will not be able to begin until after the hurricane components have begun to die down. And of course, you don't want to put yourself into a situation where you could be subject to a search and rescue. You have the power and the ability right now to be able to avoid being stuck into a search and rescue situation if you make the decision to get out of harm's way before it is too late. Another challenge that people just need to be aware of, there have already been reports of tornadoes, and this is just a natural component that comes along with hurricanes.
Yes, the tornado threat, unfortunately, is a natural component of what happens when you have a landfalling system. We're talking about multiple threats here, and unfortunately, we are also seeing tornado warnings being brought up as these outer bands of Hurricane Harvey move on shore. Taking a look at the latest warnings, we still have a tornado warning here for Galveston County. This includes the cities of Galveston, Lamarck, and Texas City until 4:15 p.m. tonight. To the south and west of that, we have another warning here for Brazoria County, Matagorda County, and Wharton County. This goes until 4:15 p.m. Central Time tonight. We are seeing indications of some rotation on the radar with these systems, so please take these warnings very seriously. Take shelter and realize that these may be quick. They might happen very quickly. You might not be able to see them as those bands come on shore. Timing this out for you, this south one, this is Brazoria County, that warning. This goes into Ashwood by 4:01 p.m. Those storms moving off to the north and west, so they'll be into the New Gulf area by just around 4:10, 4:09 or so, and then off into Burr by 4:20. So watching these systems very carefully as they come on shore. The Storm Prediction Center has issued tornado watches for this area lasting through the night tonight and into the morning tomorrow, showing you that conditions here all the way from Victoria just to the north of Corpus Christi here through the Houston area and over into Louisiana, so the southern coast of Louisiana south of Lake Charles. The conditions here will be favorable for the development of tropical tornadoes through the evening tonight. So again, please be on alert and have a way to receive your warnings. Understandably, communication may go down tonight, but you want to make sure that you're aware and take shelter if at all necessary. Here, taking in, we've got a new advisory here from the National Hurricane Center. This is the 4 p.m. Central Time advisory. Winds now at 125 miles per hour. The pressure is dropping steadily. It's now at 941 millibars. So this is a very strong system that we are dealing with here. It's still moving off to the northwest at about 10 miles per hour. So it has not begun to stall, but we are still anticipating that storm to slow down in the coming days, given the steering flow that we are looking at. So there you are seeing right now on your screen. There's the latest information from the National Hurricane Center as well as the radar. That center is just about 60 miles east-southeast of Corpus Christi. So it is closing in on Corpus Christi right now, potentially making landfall in the next 6 to 8, maybe 10 hours or so, depending on how that speed changes. Again, winds being estimated at about 125 miles per hour. So we are talking about a Category 3 hurricane, a major hurricane, and it has been quite some time since we have seen something of this magnitude coming into the United States. So again, we're tracking this out for you. We're anticipating that landfall sometime tonight. It looks like here the latest estimate, potentially early Saturday morning. So we are anticipating this to slow down and weaken just slightly before it comes on shore. You can see the winds there are about 115 miles per hour. But what happens after that truly is the concerning part about this forecast, and that's what makes the storm unique, is because the storm, if it does slow down as we are anticipating it and meander along the coast, it will continue to bring impacts for days because it will continue that persistent onshore flow. So not only does the rainfall threat continue, the storm surge threat also continues. So Paul, this is truly a concerning forecast. We're talking about potentially a historic storm here, and unfortunately we are seeing the threat start to pick up right now. So we're watching very carefully to see how things are developed. Paul?
Oh, yes, we are, Dr. Navarro. We're seeing winds now gusting probably easily at that and perhaps even above 60 miles per hour. We've been feeling some of the strongest winds we've felt all day long here. And it's amazing, you said with the latest advisory that it's now 125 miles per hour. That's the strength that Hurricane Celia was when it made landfall 47 years ago. So that's the last major hurricane to make landfall here, and something that people still remember, those that were alive back in the day. So definitely a big concern. Welcome back to our coverage of Hurricane Harvey here on the Weather Channel. We are Hurricane Central. I'm in Corpus Christi. I have Corpus Christi Bay off to my right here, which has continued to get more and more angry throughout this afternoon. And the landfall is a few hours away. And as bad as the weather is right now, it will only continue to get worse. So we're getting close to time where if you have not evacuated, it's almost too dangerous to evacuate at this point, but you still see people on the roads. There are no mandatory evacuations for Nueces County and this area of Corpus Christi, but It's just dealing with this. It's best to ride this one inside in a safe place and hope and pray for the best. Let's get the very latest on what's going on. Again, new advisory in on Hurricane Harvey. Let's get the latest now with Dr. Erica Navarro back in the studio.
Yeah, thanks so much, Paul. We're seeing the effects of this storm as it's making the approach to the coast. And with the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center, winds are estimated at 125 miles per hour. So a very strong storm that we're dealing with here. We're seeing gusts in the Corpus Christi area up to 48 miles per hour, but they have been gusting higher than that. At the airport, not too far from there, we had a gust earlier today in the 70 mile per hour range. So things are certainly starting to pick up here, and we're watching this system very carefully as it does so, because we're anticipating increased impacts through the weekend and into early next week. This is the European model and the forecast of rainfall. We're talking the potential for devastating and life-threatening rainfall totals here in the Houston area. Paul, we're talking about 20 inches of rain, and even in your area in Corpus Christi, things absolutely still look to be the same.
Yeah, the winds are very strong at this point, and the rainfall is also one of the sneaky concerns that people perhaps haven't gotten their mind around. You talked about some of the models that print out not only 10 or 14, but some perhaps 24, 30 inches of rain, because as you talked about with the path of Harvey, it comes in and then basically stalls and doesn't even pass the Houston area to, some models say Monday, some say Wednesday. And it's Friday afternoon right now, so an incredible duration we'll be dealing with Hurricane Harvey. Just joining us, welcome to Hurricane Central on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Paul Goodlow, and a very wind-whipped Corpus Christi right now. Winds gusting easily over 60 miles per hour at times as we're waiting on the approach of a Hurricane Harvey. And also a big welcome to our viewers on Local Now. We're having special coverage on Local Now because of the approach of Hurricane Harvey. And here, hard to breathe here as the wind is whipping and the rain is stinging the face. But we do have an update on the strength of Hurricane Harvey. Let's get more now from our senior hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, back in the studio.
Wow, Paul, be safe. Paul, by the way, is on high ground in Corpus Christi. We're not concerned for the storm surge in that part of Corpus Christi, but we are terribly concerned for the storm surge threat, the wind threat, and the flooding threat for the entire Corpus Christi area, especially to the north of the city. Here's the new advisory just in from the National Hurricane Center. Winds at 125 miles per hour now. And yes, there is potential for further strengthening before this storm comes ashore. It's moving at 10, and so you see it's 60 miles from Corpus Christi, a little bit less than that from the coast. So it looks like landfall, if it continues at this speed, on the order of 10 o'clock this evening, although all indications are from the models that it will slow down. So somewhere between, let's say, 10 o'clock and midnight tonight when the core of it comes ashore. But as you saw from Paul, it is already underway. Let's look at it a close up here. I'll show you what's happened with the storm today. What's happened here is it's gotten a new eye wall and a new bigger eye wall, and that slowed down the process of intensification. And now what's happening is this eye wall looks like it's trying to fill in and perhaps shrink, and there's plenty of warm water between here and the coastline for it to continue to do that for the next few hours. So the indications are perhaps a slightly stronger storm, certainly a Category 3, and I mean it could go over. It only has to go to 130 to be a Category 4. So this is going to be a tremendous, epic hurricane for this part of the coast. Now, let me tell you a little, the only slice of good news in this entire thing is between Corpus Christi here and Port O'Connor and Port Lavaca up in here. This is a very unpopulated part of that Texas coast. The coastal bend, this is called, in Texas right there. And so if this storm comes ashore here, where the, say it makes landfall about there, where the onshore flow and the worst of the winds are right there between Corpus Christi and Port O'Connor and Port Lavaca, I mean, that's the best possible thing. But the effects of the storm are going going to be tremendous in both directions. So I'm just saying that that's one little bit of news that is a little bit positive in everything else that we've got going here. On the outer fringes of it, if you look up here, look up there toward Galveston and Houston. Let me move the map a little bit here so you can see. Move that Galveston identifier out of the way. These are tornado warnings up in here. So on these outer bands coming in on the fringes, we're going to continue to have in this band and this band and this band the possibility of tornadoes with this system. And that possibility is going to continue not just today, tomorrow, through the weekend, into next week, because the idea is now that this system is likely to stay in Texas and not move on out. There you see the movement. It looks like the center is going to come ashore just north of Corpus Christi, but you're going to be very close to that western eye wall, Paul, there in the city of Corpus Christi. So it is just now beginning. All right, lots more in just a little bit. Back to Paul.
All right, thanks, Brian. And it's even difficult to look at the camera as strong as the winds are blowing here, but you make a valid point. Yes, it could be a little farther north than Corpus, the center, but as you noted, Harvey is not just a point, not a center. It's a huge hurricane here. Right now, 125-mile-per-hour hurricane. So we will definitely get lashed by the eye wall here in Corpus, even on the west side of that center. So we're still expecting perhaps wind gusts well over 100 miles per hour. We're not quite there yet, but even a wind gust over 60 like we're dealing now with, it's still pretty rough to deal with. But you also mentioned the threat for tornadoes. There's a hurricane watch not up here for Nueces County and Corpus, but all the counties north of here along the coast because of the approach of